Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and at the time of recording, it was just 5 days ago when we just first found out that Black and White 2 was coming to PokeMMO. And now within those past 5 days, we've gotten way more information and tons of details slowly kind of trickled out. So I thought, why not give a succinct, concise video for the average player base who's not following every single post on the forums of everything we know about Black White 2 so far, all from the developers of PokeMMO. Let's just go ahead and jump into things. Now, I am in the middle of the 3rd annual PokeMMO Shiny War as I'm recording this, so I'm putting in some extra effort to make sure I can go ahead and get this video out to you guys during this intense time period. But if you hear any shiny hunting going on in the background, that is why. Who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky enough to see a live recording shiny. That's actually happened a few times here on my channel. Everything we talked about today is from the developers. It is no longer conjecture like we were doing on that first day. So everything that we talked about, unless I specifically mention it, should be factual and coming. Unless the source itself, like the developers, say something alongside the words of probably or maybe, you know, listen to qualifiers when others speak. It's definitely going to be super important here today. There's a big difference when a developer makes an announcement post to the entire game, officially announcing something versus responding to a comment on the forums. And make sure that if you find this video helpful, go ahead and quickly leave a like on it and consider subscribing for daily PokeMMO videos. Without further ado, let's jump into where this all started. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was only 4 or 5 days ago when PokeMMO Black White 2 was teased on the forums with just this one simple image of the Wailord and the kid in like the kind of Pokemon aquarium, and it said Pokemon BW2 as the title of this announcement forum post. And it's pretty rare they make announcement forum posts without it being a really big deal. And you can also see, if you zoom in, the soon TM text etched into the walls of the aquarium, which is an infamous PokeMMO term used to mean something is coming soon, and that soon could be 1 year, 3 years, or 10 years sometimes. So when I first saw this, I was like, wow, that's insane that they just announced PokeMMO Black and White 2. However, I'm not really expecting them to rush this out anytime soon. My best guesstimate was that this update didn't happen until about March 2027, and that's when I thought we would see the PTS, the public test server. Well, how wrong I was to dare doubt the PokeMMO devs this time, because they released then, only a few days later, that the public test server, the PTS, would be coming out on September 19th, 2026, about 1 month after the initial teaser post. I can't think of a single update within PokeMMO where they teased something as massive as the next new region within the game and then released more information about it a few days later to then have a public test server 1 month later. For reference, when looking back at Johto, from the moment it was teased to the moment it released was about a 10-month wait period. PokeMMO is, in my opinion, the best Pokemon game ever made, and it's not even close. It clears everything else by a mile. But the PokeMMO developers infamously have been known to delay updates and kind of have poor communication. But that has all been not to be seen as of recently. This has blown me away. I think it's blown away most of the player base. And honestly, it's just a really positive and happy seeming time to be a PokeMMO player with so much on the horizon. The first Johto release was what I call a big part of the PokeMMO renaissance. It was such a huge resurgence of the game as it was declining in popularity from about 2017 up until about 2020, maybe even 2016 up until about 2020 or so. And it had boosts in its player base, you know, in between that period. It wasn't just straight going down, don't get me wrong, but I think overall the game had declined a bit in that period. And there were a lot of people that I knew that had quit the game in around 2016 or so. That was probably the closest we saw the game to death. And then to have that renaissance with Johto release and all the new content creators back in 2020 and 2021, and to now see something potentially similar with a Black White 2 release and Shiny Wars happening, official Shiny Wars every single year, event season around the corner, is just immaculate timing, and this could be potentially the second PokeMMO renaissance. But enough rambling and yapping about my passion for the game. Let's go ahead and continue and read on what Q actually had to say. Q says, we'll be conducting a public test server event on September 19th until September 20th to test upcoming features. This preview will primarily be focused on storyline balancing and testing for the upcoming Black White 2 expansion. The public test server is a separate server from the main server. Progress for the public test server is not saved, and this server requires a separate game client. We'll provide instructions upon how to access this once we are closer to the release. So just to clarify, this is obviously not a full release of the region, it's just the public test server, and they do this for every new region. Public test servers are so much fun, and I super recommend you trying it out if you're around for when it happens. There is just something truly magical about experiencing a new PokeMMO region on release within PokeMMO with all your friends and even all the strangers running the routes alongside you. Alright, so far we know that Black White 2 is coming, and we know that when the public test server is going to happen. What else is there, Patrouski? Well, there's a fair bit else. One of the biggest questions was, how will Black White 2 be implemented? Will it be overlaid over the Unova region, or will it be its own separate region to which you can travel to? And we did get confirmation on that just 14 hours ago as I make this video. Yes, players will be able to experience both regions on the same character. They will be distinguished as past and future variants. This is a big deal and really matters for tons of money-making methods in the game, things like gym reruns, trainer reruns, or berry farming, because that might give us extra berry farming plots. Now, next up, many of you might know that the PokeMMO developers actually teased and mentioned something called a new shiny hunting method about a year or so ago within PokeMMO, and we've yet to see any news or information about that yet. Well, we got some news or information alongside the Black White 2 discussion. This is from Q, even though his face is cropped out here, so my apologies, but this is a message from Q. Someone asked him, will we ever get something about that, some mention about that Shining Wars update, and Q just teases all of your dreams will come true with Black and White 2, potentially teasing some sort of dream world method as the new shiny hunting method, but I'm not super familiar with Black White 2 as a game. I'll be learning it for myself within PokeMMO, so I can't really say too much on this. I'll let you guys form your own opinions. And then next up, something got brought up within this discussion that I was not expecting at all. Someone said, since we're adding a second Unova, is there any chance for Heart Gold Soul Silver Kanto being added in the future, otherwise known as Kanto 2? You see, when Johto came out in PokeMMO in 2023, they chose to not add Kanto 2 alongside it for balancing reasons. Adding a bunch of extra gyms and trainers to rerun would severely increase the amount of Pokeyen per hour players could make all at once. And the PokeMMO devs have historically wanted to go slow and keep things balanced every step of the way. Releasing two effectively regions at the same time could be really bad for balance, and once that's in the game, it's really hard to take it back out or undo it. Players don't really like that, and it's just really bad for the health of the economy in the game. But anyways, it seems like they are reconsidering it, which is not something I ever expected to hear. Hugh says the problem we ran into with Future Kanto was that it was tied to another region's scripting, whereas Black and White 2 are cleanly separate. I don't mind the idea of past/future framings for this region potentially in the future. I like to revisit it sometime within the next year to see if it's a viable concept without significant storyline rewrites. So this is not the farthest thing from a confirmation, anything like that, but it's just them considering it. And also, in my opinion, what I love here is them communicating that they're considering it. I love when the developers communicate, hey, this is what we're looking at, this is what we're thinking about. If anyone years down the road goes, hey, where's Kanto 2, the devs said they were gonna add it, we as the community need to be like, no, they didn't, they just said they were considering it, because that has happened in the past where I feel like the developers have been taught not to communicate, because if they just say that they're thinking about something, then someone holds that against them down the line, which is a little bit rough. They're just considering it and talking about it, and hopefully if they decide to not add it to the game, they tell us essentially later in the future. But once again, more W communication in my personal opinion. Next up, someone asked the developers, what is their main goal with this update? What is the objective? Which is a fantastic question to ask, in my opinion. So shout out to Adam941. I think it's a very smart question. Shu, another developer other than Q, actually reached out and responded, which is a little bit rare to see some of the other developers like Shu communicating. So thank you, Shu. WDev communication. I don't have a whole lot to add to this, so I'll just read what he says. He says, I'll jump in on this one. I'm really excited that we're finally giving a quality pass to a lot of features that we've neglected over the years. The overworld camera is a really good example. It used to be janky and just plain wrong in certain places, and it's finally where it should be. I love that he gives an example like that. Black and White 2 get the attention first, and we'll carry it over to the other 3D regions. We'll carry it over to the other 3D regions later on. There's a lot of smaller detail work we've missed in the past, like Sky Arrow Bridge, for instance, never had its car and ship traffic, and it's one of the biggest changes we've mentioned yet. And one of the biggest things we haven't mentioned yet, is a major pass on the battle animation system. That one I'm really hyped up about. I have not seen a whole lot of discussion from Shu on the forums, and this guy seems really passionate, man, and wholesome, and it makes my heart warm. I think a lot of players need to see that passion and that love from the PokeMMO developers. I think there's a lot of bitterness and resentment over the years. And I think often when you work on a project for so long, I think it's really easy to kind of lose that spark. So I just want to say the point of this is to say thank you, Shu, for showing the player base that passion and that love, man. Next up, I can't speak on a lot of this developer work stuff as it's a bit out of my depth, but one of the things he mentions I think is really cool here. Someone just messaged and talked about custom backgrounds and other like moddable features of the game, and if that would still be okay post these next few updates. And Hugh said, we'll be looking to standardize the mod framework for 3D models over the next few months, and if it doesn't launch with Black White, it might not launch with Black White 2. Currently, we still plan on Black White 1 being the base ROM, with Black White 2 being optional content, eventually becoming the base experience with its higher fidelity assets. I don't believe there are any major blockers to just porting battle pad mods to Black White 2 from a user's perspective, but our artists have had their own battle backgrounds as a wishlist item for a very long time, and I think it's about time for that. So this is teasing battle background mods, custom battle background mods, and that's really interesting. If you don't know what that is, so in-game right now you can see I have no in-game battle background. Okay, I actually have it turned off right now because of Shiny War. It's just to kind of shake things up and have a little fun. Now, I'm also shutting at the wrong spot. Q, don't kill me. Or Clue, don't kill me. Anyways, I'm moving 1 second, okay? I promise. Anyways, Shiny War stuff out of the way. If I head over to video in game and I click show battle background, that's going to turn the battle background on. And since I'm at 5 Island Meadow, we'll have this kind of like sunny, cool little positive landscape. Imagine if we could have some giant castle from like Bowser's castle in Mario, or some sort of beach background, or whatever you want it to be, man. Some hellish landscape, some beautiful, bright landscape. Imagine being able to customize this and change this and have more mods in relation to your battle background. I think little visual stuff like that goes a really long way in MMOs. Enjoying what you're looking at when playing a game for thousands of hours is really important. Alrighty, and I believe that is everything I wanted to mention today. I think that's everything that we know about Black White 2 and its release coming to PokeMMO at the time of recording. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Once again, if you did, give it a quick like. It's a really easy, quick, free way to support the content creators that you do enjoy. Dislike if I'm smelly and forgot something. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos every single day. That's right, I do upload every single day. I also stream a ton over on Twitch if you're interested, and I've been streaming a ton of my Shiny Wars progress and shiny hunting throughout its journey. Of course, my Discord is down below if you want to join a community of people that love this game and just want to ask questions and learn about the game. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch primes, Twitch subs, PayPal and Venmo donations, especially during Shiny War, helping me stream so much and getting these videos out. The more support that I get, the more time and love and energy I can put into my channel. So thank you all so much for allowing me to be here. Have a great day. Good luck to you all on your PokeMMO journeys, and I hope to see you when Black White 2 rolls around. But for now, boys, peace, Arito. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I want to take this moment to say thank you to everybody who goes above and beyond, and thank you as the viewer to making it to the end of the video. I hope it was helpful today and maybe even a little bit of fun. Thanks again for watching, and have a good one.